Millionaire pays a homeless woman for a baby, but Elon Musk's reaction to the child shocks everyone. In a bustling city where dreams are made and broken, there was a woman named Sarah. Her face was hidden behind a dirty scarf, her clothes torn and tattered from years of homelessness. But Sarah wasn't always like this. She had once been a brilliant, ambitious woman with a promising future. That was before life's harshest blows knocked her down, leaving her in a world where survival was her only goal. No one knew her name, no one cared, until one day everything changed. The phone rang that fateful afternoon. Sarah, huddled in the cold, ignored it at first, but the persistent ringing got to her and she finally answered. On the other end was an unfamiliar voice. "I want to buy your baby." Her heart skipped a beat. She thought she had heard wrong. A baby? The only thing that had ever kept her going through the years of hardship was the child she had given birth to in a rundown shelter. What did this stranger mean? The voice on the other end was calm, confident, and full of money. The offer was insane. A millionaire, a billionaire in fact, was offering Sarah a large sum of money to give him her child. "It's for a good cause," the voice assured her. "You won't have to worry about anything ever again." The man's name was James Caldwell, a tech mogul known for his controversial investments. Rumors about him paying for extraordinary things swirled in the media. But this was something different. The more Sarah thought about it, the more she realized that this might be the only chance to escape her torment. But how could she do it? Her heart ached at the thought. She had always promised to protect her son at all costs. But now, faced with the prospect of giving him a better life, could she really say no? Days passed and Sarah's emotions swirled in a storm of confusion. The night before the big meeting, she sat in the corner of her alley, looking up at the stars. She remembered the better days when her son laughed in her arms and the future felt bright. But now that seemed like another lifetime. She clutched her son close to her chest, the pain of losing him almost unbearable. But the money James was offering could change everything. She could give him a future, a chance for something better than the harsh streets. On the day of the meeting, Sarah stood at the Grand Hotel lobby, feeling small and out of place. The opulence of the space made her feel like she didn't belong. James Caldwell was waiting for her, sitting behind a desk with a glass of whiskey in his hand. He was tall, impeccably dressed, and radiated confidence. The deal was simple. Sarah would sign the papers, and in return, her son would be given a new life with the wealth James had to offer. As she walked out of the room with the check in hand, her hands shook. The guilt overwhelmed her. She had done the unthinkable. But as soon as she stepped out onto the streets, something unexpected happened. A black limousine pulled up beside her. The window rolled down, and there, staring at her, was none other than Elon Musk. His face was stern, almost angry. "You really think money can buy happiness?" he asked, his voice sharp. Sarah froze, stunned. The man who had changed the world with his tech empire was now standing in front of her, questioning her choices. What could she say? She hadn't even known he was in town. But Elon Musk wasn't there just to question her. He was there with a proposition that would change everything. "I can give your son a life," Elon said, his eyes intense. "A future, one that goes beyond anything Caldwell can offer. But first, I need you to make a choice." Sarah stood there, torn between two billionaires, both offering a life she could never imagine. But what was Elon's plan, and why had he chosen her? The tension was unbearable as she stared into Elon's eyes, realizing that this moment could reshape everything. Just when she thought the situation couldn't get any more complicated, James Caldwell stormed out of the hotel, furious. "I told you to stay out of this," he shouted at Elon, his anger radiating through the air. The two tech moguls locked eyes, tension crackling like electricity. What was going on? Why had Elon Musk gotten involved? Was this all part of a bigger game? A few moments later, it was revealed that Elon had been planning to launch a new initiative to rescue children from poverty-stricken environments. The child Sarah had was the perfect candidate for his new project. But what shocked everyone even more was that Elon wasn't just offering money, he was offering a chance at immortality for the child, a life where his future would never be limited by money or circumstances. However, Sarah was still torn. She was starting to see the cracks in both offers, the lies beneath the shiny promises. What did James Caldwell want with her son? And what was Elon's true agenda? Was there a dark side to his grand gesture? As Sarah walked away, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being used by both men. But she had no choice. She had to make a decision, and fast. The twist? As Sarah stepped into her modest apartment that evening, she found a letter waiting for her. It was from her son's father, a man she hadn't seen in years. The letter was short, but the message was clear. I know what you're doing. You're about to make a mistake that could change everything. The truth about both of them will shock you. Don't make a decision until you read this. The mystery deepens, and Sarah's life is about to take a turn she never expected. Will she choose the world of billionaires, or will she uncover a secret so dangerous that it could unravel everything she thought she knew about love, power, and what it truly means to be free? The story continues, and the answer to Sarah's dilemma will leave you breathless, with shocking revelations that no one could ever predict. The next morning, Sarah woke up to the harsh reality of the letter in her hands. Her mind raced with questions, the urgency of her choices tightening like a vice around her chest. She couldn't trust either billionaire, not without knowing their true intentions. What if Elon Musk had a hidden agenda? What if James Caldwell was hiding something far darker? The letter had warned her to be careful, but Sarah didn't know who to trust. She had to find out the truth. With trembling hands, Sarah opened the letter from her son's father. As she read, her breath caught in her throat. Caldwell isn't just buying babies, the letter revealed. He's experimenting with them, creating an army of mind-controlled children to fulfill his own twisted vision for the future. He wants to turn your son into his next weapon. The words on the page were enough to make her stomach churn. Sarah's heart pounded as the truth sank in. She had almost handed her child over to a man who saw him as nothing more than a tool, but there was more. The letter went on to describe Elon's involvement in a shadowy organization that had been operating in secret for years. Elon Musk may have good intentions, but he's not the hero he pretends to be. He's involved in a project where the child he saves may never live a normal life again. You must act fast. It was too much to process. Her head spun and her heart raced. What if both men were playing her as the weight of the decision bore down on her? Sarah knew there was only one place she could turn: her instincts. In a world of lies and manipulation, she had to trust her gut. With her son in her arms, she made a vow to herself she would protect him no matter the cost. No one would control his future. Not Caldwell, not Musk, and certainly not anyone else who saw her child as just a prize to be won. The next few days were a blur. Sarah spent every moment she could researching, searching for answers, but nothing seemed to add up. The more she dug, the more questions she had. And then, in the most unexpected of places, she found the truth. While she was shopping for food, she overheard a conversation between two men. They were talking about an upcoming event where both James Caldwell and Elon Musk would be attending, an exclusive gathering of tech elites. Sarah knew that if she could get in, she would finally find the answers she needed. She didn't have much time left. The deal was still on the table, and both men were waiting for her decision. But what if there was a darker truth hidden beneath their smiles and promises? Without a second thought, Sarah made her move. She disguised herself as one of the event staff, sneaking into the private gathering where the billionaires were meeting. The tension in the air was palpable. As she quietly eavesdropped on their conversation, she couldn't believe what she was hearing. James Caldwell wasn't just planning to buy children. He was planning to manipulate the entire human race using advanced technologies that would control people's thoughts and actions. It was a nightmare she never could have imagined. But then something happened that shocked her even more. Elon Musk, the man she had hoped would be her salvation, was sitting calmly next to Caldwell, nodding in agreement to the dark plans. He wasn't fighting Caldwell, he was helping him. The truth was clear now. Both men had been using her son, to further their own twisted ambitions. Sarah's blood ran cold as she realized that the choice she had to make wasn't about which billionaire to trust. It was about saving her son from becoming a pawn in their game. As Sarah's mind raced, she saw a chance. The event was about to end, and everyone was gathering to leave. She sprinted to the exit, desperate to get back to her son. But when she reached the door, she found herself face to face with Elon Musk. He didn't look surprised to see her. Instead, he smiled darkly, his eyes cold. "You're too late," he said, his voice low. "You can't escape this. Your son is already part of the plan." But before Sarah could react, she felt a sharp pain in her side. James Caldwell, who had been lurking in the shadows, had struck. The world spun around her as she collapsed to the ground. Everything went black. When Sarah woke up, she was in an unfamiliar place, a dimly lit room that smelled of metal and machinery. Her son was nowhere to be found. Panic surged through her as she realized the truth. They had taken him. They had taken him to turn him into something he wasn't meant to be. The rage inside her ignited. She would stop at nothing to get her son back, no matter the cost. As she escaped the underground facility and fought her way through guards, Sarah finally found her son, alive but changed. He looked at her with vacant eyes, as if he wasn't even the same child anymore. In that moment, she understood. The battle wasn't just for her son's life, it was for his soul. With her last ounce of strength, Sarah broke the control over her son, freeing him from the twisted experiment they had subjected him to. They escaped together, finally free. Moral of the story. In a world where power and money often try to control us, love and the desire to protect those we care about are the most powerful forces of all. No matter how dark the path may seem, never forget that love can light the way, and sometimes the greatest act of courage is simply choosing to protect what's most important to you.